Imagery. What is imagery? Well, imagery is the words and phrases that the poet, the writer, the author uses to create a picture in the reader's mind, to bring the scene to life. The imagery in Drummer Hodge is used to emphasize the foreign and the exotic nature of Africa. The Kopje crest, the veldt, the broad karoo, the bush, the dusty loam, all give a picture in our minds of the foreign landscape and how different it was for Drummer Hodge and for all of his fellow soldiers, and so far and so different from his Wessex home, fresh from his Wessex home. There are two main types of imagery used in Drummer Hodge. The first we will look at is natural imagery, or the imagery of nature. And this is a recurring imagery used throughout this poem. Recurring means repeated. We have Kopje crest, we have broad karoo, bush, the dusty loam, yet portion of that unknown plain. And we also have forever and eternally. So how does the land treat Drummer Hodge? Well, actually, the land treats Drummer Hodge with respect. Drummer Hodge's body is kept there forever and eternally. The bodies of the dead, the body of Drummer Hodge, becomes part of the land, and it becomes part of the land forever. His body will always be a part of the land. The Kopje crest. His landmark is a Kopje crest. The people don't create a memorial or a gravestone for Drummer Hodge, but the land does. The landscape makes a natural way to remember him, and that is with this Kopje crest. So the land is respecting Drummer Hodge, but the people are not. The broad karoo, again, is an imagery of nature, of the landscape. And so is the bush, dusty loam. These three words or phrases really give us, the reader, an impression of the landscape and what it looks like. It's vast. It is dry, very dry. It's dusty. It goes on forever. Very little vegetation. And just with these three words and phrases, Thomas Hardy really brings to life what the setting of this poem is. And the setting is very important in this poem because it is where Drummer Hodge dies, and it's so foreign for him. Yet portion of that unknown plain will Hodge forever be. So this hints that before, with these three words, that the land is very foreign for him. Yet portion of that unknown plain will Hodge forever be. This hints that he's gone from being foreign to being part of the land. He'll forever be there. This land has now become his land because it's his final resting place. Forever and eternally. He will be there forever. It's his final resting place. And the use of the word forever and eternally, it is a way for the land to find a way to remember him. The land takes care of Drummer Hodge, whereas the people didn't. Okay, moving on to celestial imagery. Celestial means of the stars, so imagery of the stars. And foreign constellations west each night above his mound. and why uprose to nightly view strange stars amid the gloam. And strange-eyed constellations reign, his stars eternally. If you have a look for these 6 lines in the poem, where can you find them? Well, they are in the final 2 lines of each stanza. This one, final 2 lines of stanza 1. This one, this couplet. Remember, a couplet is 2 lines together. This couplet is the final 2 lines of stanza 2, and this couplet is the final 2 lines of stanza 3. And the celestial imagery is a recurring image, repeating, a recurrent image throughout this poem. It is used, Thomas Hardy uses it to give the poem a certain tone. Using the imagery of the stars makes the reader feel and imagine that Drummer Hodge is lost in an expansive world. So his death, while very important, is tiny in comparison to the stars above. His useless death, the futility of his death, is dwarfed by the importance of war. So this is quite common in war poetry, to talk about the massive importance of war and use a single soldier and this single soldier's death or suffering to show the immensity of war and how the individual soldiers are tiny. They're like little tiny chess pieces used to fight a war. And the celestial imagery in this poem is used to show that. Also, it could be an antithesis. Antithesis means a direct opposite of something else. Good word to use. It could be an antithesis to the fleeting and futile war. And his death represents the timelessness and all-encompassing significance of both the war and the world in general, our atmosphere. So we're comparing Drummer Hodge and his death to the immenseness of our planet and the stars above. And these stars are so huge, and it's quite a powerful imagery to compare the small, tiny death of one soldier to the immenseness of our galaxy. Okay, and finally, Astrafee. New word for you here, new poetic device. Astrafee means the inversion of the usual word order. And here's a simple example. This is how we would normally write the sentence. My name is Sarah Parker. When we invert or change the order of words, it becomes Sarah Parker is my name. Clearly, this is not normal word order. It is Astrafee. Astrafee in this poem is used in 2 places. And why uprose to nightly view strange stars amid the gloam? Last 2 words or couplet of stanza 2. Yet portion of that unknown plain will Hodge forever be. The first 2 lines of stanza 3. So normally this should read, strange stars amid the gloam, and why uprose to nightly view. And this should read, Hodge will forever be a portion of that unknown plane. So you can see that Hardy has changed the word order of these two lines. He's used Astrafee. But it's no good just identifying that he has used Astrafee. We have to say why. We have to at least have a go at trying to decipher why he's used a certain poetic device. In this case, it might be to set apart significant ideas in the sentence. In this case, it is strange stars. He wants strange stars to be the beginning of a line so that we focus on the words strange stars. In this case, will Hodge forever be? Thomas Hardy wants us to focus on will Hodge forever be. He wants us to focus on the permanence of Hodge's death. This is forever. He will obviously be dead forever. And Thomas Hardy really wants us to focus on that fact. So in conclusion, Thomas Hardy uses two different types of imagery in Drummer Hodge. He uses natural imagery and celestial imagery. He does this to draw our focus, to emphasize, draw our focus to nature. And he does this because he wants the land to seem foreign and exotic. He uses celestial imagery to create a certain tone in the poem, comparing one tiny death of a soldier to the immensity of our galaxy, and to show the futility of war.